All right. Hello everyone out there. Hello. Nice to see all of you guys back again. Okay, I can see Edwina. Hello, Edwina. Hello, Olivia. You are back again. Great to have you guys back again. So if you have just tuned in, today we are going to be having a very short session whereby we will have a chit chat session, in fact. So this is what we call the Edu Chat series for the Education Summit 2020. So what this Edu Chat series is all about speaking to educators out there in Malaysia or internationally in finding out their education strategies, and also, more importantly, to understand more of their life, right? What makes them a good teacher, right? Their life stories, as well as how they manage their daily life, right? So this will be a very exciting EduChat series whereby more and more educators out there, we will be inviting in for the show. So even after the 3 days virtual summit, right, we will also be interviewing more and more educators out there. If you're a teacher, parent, or any educators out there, which you think has a X factor, right? If you find that there are a lot of educators out there that you feel that we should interview, please do comment as well and email to us any of their contacts. We will be we will be very gladly love to interview them. Okay, so for today's session, the first series of the EduChat series, we will be speaking to a very interesting figure. Her name is Dr. Savita. I'll be introducing her to you very shortly. But before we start on that, just like to engage with the audiences today, right? So as always, please do comment. Where are you from? If you're here, say hi to us so that we can see your lovely comments and lovely faces over here. Okay, Shanyi Bryant, nice to see you. Edwina, nice to see you. Okay, she has a question. Will the talks be recorded throughout the summit so that we can listen? Yes. In fact, we have been trying to communicate to everyone that the Education Summit Facebook group will be recording all of the session. So all of it will be available to you even after the live session. right? So the main idea for this Education Summit group will be serving as like a book, right? So in any cases, if you're facing with any of the challenges, just go back to the Facebook group and try to find out which topic can solve your challenges. For example, if suddenly you've run out of ideas to engage with your kids, right? You're trying to find new ideas on how to work out online lessons, then just go back to the Facebook group, look for the respective topic and watch it again, right? So Edwina, hope that answers your question, right? And who else are here, right? If you're here, please say hi, and please do remember to share this video out to as many of your friends, parents, teachers out there that would be interested to tune in on this series as well. And also, if you would be able to click the invite friends to watch, right? I guess under the comment section, there's like invite friends to watch. You can do that as well as if you want to host a watch party, that's good as well. Okay, so Ganesan Dana Jayan, hi, nice to meet you. So can everyone just comment down there, where are you from? So which state are you from? If you are from Malaysia, and if you are from overseas, please let us know as well. Because yesterday, the live session, we managed to see a couple of international audiences, one from Azerbaijan, right? That's quite a far place. And interestingly enough, they managed to tune in onto our channel, right? So, okay, a little bit about our speaker for today. Her name is Dr. Savita. And how I actually met her was, I actually met her 3 months ago, right? 3 months ago. And we actually started talking about education. She was talking to me about how she's a lecturer from Universiti Teknologi PETRONAS. And as we chat, there are a lot of fascinating stories that she has been sharing with me on how she conducts her class in university. It makes me feel that I want to be a university student again and to go through her class myself, right? And she has been sharing with me her life story on how she's a mother of 2. And during this MCO period, she was trying to juggle the roles in between becoming a university lecturer and also a mom, right? I'm sure a lot of you teachers out there can relate to what I'm saying over here, right? So you have kids at home, but at the same time, you're trying to be a teacher in front of the camera, right? Engaging your kids, and you're trying to be that respectful teacher, but at the same time, as your kids walk through, then suddenly the entire image sort of like go past, right? Okay, so Edwina in Malaysia in SG, Malaysian in SG. All right, coming from Singapore as well. That's great. Do let us know as well. Are you a teacher? Are you a parent? And as well as if you're an educator, do let us know your background so that we can know more about you. Okay, Edwina. Okay, so as we're about to go through this session, just let me run through with you what's going to happen next. So we're going to be chit-chatting about Dr. Savita. So if any one of you out there would have anything that you would like to ask Dr. Savita over here about how to become a better teacher, or even how to become a better mom, or maybe how to cook very good dishes. Maybe you can ask her as well. I'm not sure if she's good in that. So a lot of chit-chatting session. We just want to find out your opinion on this, and we hope to interact with you more and to understand you as educator better, and hopefully to bring more interesting contents to you out there. Okay, Edwina actually says that wildlife educator for an animal protection group, also full-time mommy. Wow, okay. Wow, wildlife educator for animal protection group. Wow, that's very interesting. Do PM me later. I would really like to find out more about this. Are you taking care of homeless animals? Wildlife educator, or are you working with like animals like pandas or different breed kind of animals? Do let me know on that. Okay. And for those of you who have just tuned in, please do share this out to all of the teachers and parents out there, or any of your friends. So it's going to be a very chit-chatty session. So we would just like to engage with you. All right. So right now, I would like to bring Dr. Savita onto the screen right now. She's been standing by on stage, And we hope that today's session, we would give you some entertainment while at the same time being able to provide you with some insight on education solutions and ideas out there. So without further ado, here is Dr. Savita. Okay.
Hi.
Hello,
Hi
Dr.
everyone. Hi
Savita.
Jay. Can you hear me?
Right, can anyone hear Dr. Savita? Okay, if you can hear Dr. Savita, please give her a like, right, or love, right, to invite her on today's session. So, Dr. Savita, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Busy,
Being
but
good.
good.
Okay, are you having any lectures today? Are you conducting any classes today?
Today, no, I didn't have any classes today, but I have some student postgraduate presentation today to attend to. Yes.
Wow, okay. So everything is being done online, am I right?
Yes, correct. Everything is online right now. Yes.
Okay, so so right now today is a very interesting topic that we're going to chat today. It's all about being a lecturer and also going through the interesting phase of becoming a motherhood, right? So before we start, maybe just for a background for all of the audiences out there, please do let us know your background story. Tell us more about yourself and what you are currently doing.
All right. So, hi everyone. Good evening. For those who tune from Malaysia. I actually a full-time lecturer at Universiti Teknologi PETRONAS. So now means I'm permanently staying in Ipoh, but originally I'm from Terengganu. So those who tune in from Terengganu, hi. So I've been grew up in a very small town called Dungun, which is located in Terengganu itself. And then from there, I moved on, and now I actually settled down in Ipoh because the UTP or Universiti Teknologi PETRONAS is located in Perak itself. So what do I specialize? My background is on information system. So I teach courses in information system under computer and information sciences department or in UTP itself. So apart from that, I have a lot of passion in teaching and learning. So I am a teaching and learning coordinator under our Center of Teaching and Learning. And because I would like to know more about engaging people, collaborate. So I took some certification on neuro-linguistic programming on NLP to understand about how we think and how our personality and how to build a relationship. So these are the things that I also do it along the way. So yeah, a little bit about me. So I'm married with two kids, two boys. All right, two boys. The eldest is 13 years old. And the youngest is 8 years old. So I have one in high school and one in primary school, actually. Yes, little bit about me, Jay. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, Dr. Savita, so in a way, as we started out, when we start to chat with each other, right? So we talk a lot about education, right? So maybe we can start off from the university perspective, because as I was chatting with Dr. Savita, we talk a lot about education systems. We talk a lot about education techniques, although she's a lecturer teaching about information technology. But what I can see from Dr. Savita is that she has a lot of passion in bringing in a lot of fun and engaging elements with your university students, right? So could you tell us more about how you conduct your daily, okay, first question.
Right.
In the eyes of students, right? How would you think they would perceive you as a lecturer? Are you a fun type of lecturer? Are you a mean kind, a strict kind, or yeah, how would they describe you?
Okay, I hope my student is listening. I think they perceive me as a very a friendly lecturer, approachable. So I have this open door concept that I always welcome my student to come to my office, if they need to speak to me regarding study or non-study related matter. And same goes to my undergraduate and postgraduate students. So usually I treat my student like my friends. Okay, I believe because they are LDAT learner, students in the university, I perceive them as an LDAT learner. So I take them equally to me. So I feel that they learn from me on something, I learn something from them too. So yes, so some of the students end up becoming my good friends, you know, especially my postgraduate student. So I have my favorite postgraduate student, and now she's back in Pakistan, Mariam. So we always, even she's back now, we still call each other on a weekly basis. So we talk and we discuss, you know, their projects that we collaborate. So it went beyond student to becoming a friend, and you know, very close. So I could perceive myself as, yeah, friendly and approachable.
Okay, friendly and approachable. That's a very nice thing to have. I wish I have more teachers which are very friendly and approachable. So I remember when I was young, very naughty kid, right? So always get the rotan and a lot of standing on the table as a punishment, right? So yeah, so a lot of interesting things that Dr. Savita has been sharing with me on uni life in Terengganu in UTP, right? For more specifically. So I discovered that in the way on how you conduct your lectures, right, in UTP, it's a very different approach. What I can say, different approach from conventional method. So could you tell us more about how UTP, right, has the culture of teaching in UTP, and as a whole, that how you witness the student life or as a lecturer life in your university?
All right. So UTP is every university use the method like very teacher centered. So for the last few years, I think about few years back, we have moved to student centered learning, where we focus on 21st century learning, active learning, flipped classroom, team based learning, project based learning. So these are our focus currently. So it's actually we incorporate it together with our current teaching methods. So we are moving from the traditional method to more of the latest one, because you see these days the kids, right? I remember during my young days, you know, we just go to school, we listen, we read the books. I know mobile phones, audio, video was not something very important those days, right? Everything is text based. But generation have changed, students have changed, all right? The way they would change. So UTP really put a lot of focus to turn the university into a student-centered approach. So we have a center of teaching and learning, and they actually invest a lot in educating, all right? Educating both the lecturers and the students. So the lecturer undergo for training. We have training on a monthly basis. So there's like a series of training from top trainers in education located within Malaysia, even out of Malaysia. So we can sign up and we can go for it, and then even the student will go through it, because the changes does not only happen on the lecturer side, it also happen on the student side. So you know, both party has to adopt and adapt to the new changes. Yeah.
Okay, right. So I hear that you bring up a lot of very interesting concepts, right? Like flipped classroom learning, project-based learning, and student-centered learning. Okay, so just want to find out from the audiences out there that are listening through, right? Have you heard of any of this before? Because it's going to be a 1-hour session, so we may not be able to cover all of it. However, do let us know between flipped classroom learning, project-based learning, and student-centered learning, which topic would you like to hear Savita comment or describe more about during the session? Please comment below so that we know how to proceed ahead. Okay. By the meantime, just wanted to find out from Dr. Savita, all of these concepts, right, that you have adopted, which concept do you think that in terms of teaching strategies, right, that you feel most affect you to become a better lecturer or a better teacher in that sense? So is there any type of strategies that you have learned from the past many years, right, that has been like your go-to strategy that you have always been using?
I think is no one best method. It's also the preference of the lecturers, depending on how they would like to conduct their class, and also how is the based on also the courses. So some subjects are very technical, right? Some subjects are very management based. So that I feel every method has its strengths and weaknesses. So it very depending to the lecturers themselves. For myself, I actually blend flipped learning together with team-based learning. And in the team-based learning, surely there's active learning. So I'm actually blending 2-3 methods together. So it's not necessary that you have to pick one of it and conduct in the class. You can have blended learning, means you have a mix of few methods in your class. Yeah.
I see. So it's like a recipe that you put 2 or 3 different ingredients together to come up with the best recipe. Okay.
Yeah.
So Dr. Savita, treat me like a monkey, right? That does not know anything about flipped classroom learning, team-based learning, and active-based learning. Could you roughly describe to us or to the audiences out there what do you mean by flipped classroom learning? What do you mean by team-based, or what do you mean by active-based learning?
All right. For this, I'm going to just cover briefly because this will be my topic that I will be discussing on Sunday morning. So those who are watching me, please tune to know more about this flipped learning and team-based learning on Sunday morning. But let me brief a little bit. So what I do in the flipped learning is that I actually prepare the material in advance for the students. So students receive the material in advance before the class. So some prepare the material a week before the schedule, all right, means like if your class is on Monday, you upload all the material a week before that. And some will actually upload all the material for the whole semester in advance before the week itself. So actually it depends on the preferred method individually. But what happens in flipped learning is that they are divided into 3 stages. So pre-class, during class, and after class. So during pre-class, then the student actually are given the material. They're supposed to go through the material themselves, all right? And there will be learning, but the learning will be limited because some of the material might not be familiar. They are not familiar with. And then when they come to the class, this is when the lecturers or the instructor guide them through. So I have my own way of doing how I conduct things in my class. So briefly to say it that because I'm using team-based learning, so when all the material that I upload for them or I share to them via our e-learning platform, the students are required to actually do a mind map, all right? Because a lot of material that I share videos, all right? So I want them to watch the video and create a mind map based on what they understood from the video that they watched. And same goes to the material, like maybe some white papers, some case study. I want them to get the gist of the paper, some key point, and put it in a mind map. And then when they come to the class, they will bring along the mind map. So this is what happened before the MCO. All right, they come to the class, they will bring their mind map. Okay. So I used to do mind map on a hard copy base, pen and paper, and some are using the software. So most of them, I encourage them to do a pen and paper because I believe that drawing actually initiate different type of neurons in the brain. So I told them to add more colors, draw, and it's one way also to release their stress as learning. So they do coloring, all those things while they're doing mind map. So they make it as creative as possible. So so I actually appreciate the creativity they put in their mind map. So like adding learning but fun at the same time. And then surely when they come to the class, I will have a pre-quiz, and then they do some quiz I want them to, so that I can understand what they have learned from the YouTube. So I understood the level of their understanding. At the same time, they also understood which are the area that they require more guidance. So then I will carry out lecture, and then we will do team activity. So there's team activities are divided into groups. So I'll talk more about that during on Sunday. And then we will do continue a little bit more on lecture, a little bit more activity. The activity depends. Some activity are short, some are lengthy. And then we will do a post quiz, okay, to see that does their understanding improvise after they go through the lecture and the activities. And at the end of the class, we carry out a reflection of what they understood and what they have learned. So all these things. So after the class, because during the process of learning, after they go back, all right, so means after the class, post class, they have to update their mind map. So when they come to the class, they have a brief mind map, what they understood. And then they go through activities and lecture, right? And then they will actually update the mind map with the new points. So some of the mind map, we also have an activity where they and their friend will discuss on the point and they improvise their mind maps on all the points that they have learned. Yeah. So,
Okay.
so this is
Right.
something,
Well,
yeah.
that's quite a handful, right? It's like
Yeah.
the entire series of dishes that you'll be serving throughout the entire lecture series, right? So there's like mind map, and then there's like white paper, and then there's like discussion, and then there's like reflection among themselves. Okay. So one question from the audiences over here. So from Mickey Chong, she was actually asking, how about our target students is lower primary. So maybe if I can share from my side as well. I mainly run education programs nationwide in Malaysia in primary and secondary schools. So surprisingly, what you mentioned over there, we actually use a lot of mind map as well, but we actually use a lot of gamification method. But for me, I use mind map as a way to solidify their understanding on what has been taught, right? As they create the mind map and they have a very visual picture about what has been learned, and end of the day, they are able to share with everyone, right? So it works very well with primary, lower primary students, right? Where the mind map might not be a lot of words, but with a lot of pictures, right? And sometimes like some students might draw like a little bit interesting drawings, if I can say. Okay, so for you, Dr. Savita, how about targeting students with lower primary? Does your method actually work for them?
Yeah, I believe the method works because I actually use the method with my child too. I have a child of 8 years old or standard 2. So because during this MCO period, there's a lot of teachers from the school share lots of YouTube videos. So eventually when I ask them to sit and listen, and then you can see my son is going to left, going to right, then he say him, and then he say, oh, Tasari, I'm feeling so sleepy. I'm so tired because the focus is going off because they keep listening. Eventually you can see, oh no. So I told them, take a paper, take a pen, you listen, something simple, and you can do some drawing. It might not be exactly everything that's stated or every single point because they are at the younger kids, but it made their mind to start thinking and they start doing some sketching, not really a mind map, but they start doing some sketching and then learns better. And then when they do sketching, they were asking, Mommy, you see this point and this point, what do you think about this? So, and then they start adding information to it because they realize that, hey, there's some connection between these two concepts. Can you explain me more? Because it might not be mentioned in in that particular video yet. So I agree with you, Jay, that it do help the younger children too and keep them going because they like to do drawing and sketching at this age. So sometimes I ask them to do I give the A4 paper and give them some color pencils and ask them to draw. Sometimes give them marker pens, sometimes give them magic pens. So I let them just to draw around, sketching around, not really the formal mind map kind of thing. Yeah, that's what I do for my.
So fundamentally, mind map still works. Doesn't matter if you are primary school all the way to university, right? Because sometimes when we are running programs even for adults as well, we actually use mind map as well. So mind map is a very I guess a lot of people know how to use mind map and know what is it about. So yeah. So Mickey Chong, hope that answers your question. So for all of you out there, so if you have any questions with regards to learning, right, please do comment down there so that Dr. Savita can address all of this out there. And for those of you who are tuning in, please also share this out to any of your friends out there. And I just want to find out, okay, wow, a lot of people have just joined in. So we have Wen Ting, and okay, we have one of the speakers that just joined in, Dr. Tazli, which will be one of the speakers for our Education Summit 2020 speaker has just joined in. Hello, Dr. Tazli. And we have Zaid Ali, right? Okay, and Nurma Abdul Karim. Okay, she has been here since yesterday. Okay, so back to Dr. Savita. Just wanting to find out, right? With the methods that you teach in the school, right? I guess a lot of teachers, as of right now, primary or secondary school teacher, if we were to zoom in on the demographics, right? A lot of the teachers have been feedbacking with us in that they have a huge challenge in getting students to be engaged using online method, because right now MCO, everyone is trying to engage kids to go through their studies, lesson plans, everything through online, right? So there's a gap, there's a barrier. So during MCO period, right, during your using your own methods, what have you been using to engage your students during learning from home or teaching from home?
All right. Okay. Before I proceed, welcome, Dr. Tazli. So Dr. Tazli is someone that I learn a lot from. So some sort of my mentor that I learn on student-centered learning. So thank you to him. He's the one who actually realized that I have passion in student-centered learning, and I put a lot of effort in improving my skill in terms of teaching and learning too here. So thank you, Dr. Tazli. All right, back to what are the methods to get them engaged. I feel that before MCO, all right, face-to-face, the engagement was much more easier. It was much more easier because you can see the students, you can see their gesture, their facial expression, the way they talk, the way they move, both the verbal and non-verbal gesture. So you can read, like, if they look confused, you can see in the facial expression, they look so confused. But if they look happy, you can see. So it was very easy to get them engaged. So when, because in UTP, we have, we call a smart classroom. So the classroom are a little bit different than the usual classroom. So students are placed in like a circle table with a colorful chair. So the place are very colorful, the smart classroom. And so you can actually, so we as an instructor, we move from one table to another table along the way, and we actually check with them what they understand depending on their reaction. So sometimes I'll be standing at the front, but I can see some of them looks a little bit blur, and then they, they are not sure, but they are very shy to ask. So I actually move myself and go and ask, do you need which part do you don't understand? So the engagement was easier during face-to-face. Yes, when MCO started, during that time when MCO started, UTP was towards the end of the semester. So we didn't really have classes. We was focusing more on completing their quizzes and their tests. Yes, we do not have exam. We moved from formative assessment to from summative to formative assessment. So we have extended assignment to replace the final exam. But the new semester just began about 3 weeks ago. All right. Surely there are a lot of difficulties to get them engaged, because it's a new method for us as well as for the student. All right. So the students are used to it. So eventually, I would prefer everyone to have the video on. Like, I get my video on, they get each of their video on, and then we could communicate. I can see them clearly. I can see their gesture. But there are many other issues that as an educator, we have to understand too. So I understood that some of my students has a very limited internet accessibility. If they on the video, they weren't able to listen to my lecture. They weren't able to participate. So most of the time the video is off. So when video is off, it makes things a little bit more difficult, because you are not sure what your students are doing at the back of the computer laptop, right? So I will ask a lot of questions in between. I will call names. I will tell them. I say, okay. So I actually at the beginning of the class, I actually tell some like a guidance. Okay, so this class, we're going to do this and this. Along the way, I'm going to ask questions, I'm going to call names, and then we're going to have some pair activities, we're going to have some group activity, in between we're going to have quiz. So I make it clear, so it's not like a surprise for them that suddenly I call, hey, Mr. A, can you answer this question? No, because I want them to feel comfortable, I want them to feel safe, all right? And I ask them question, and whenever I ask them question, surely they're a little bit silent. They're very new to me. They met me for the first time now for this particular course. But I told them it's okay. We are learning. It's okay to be wrong. Just tell your opinion. And I get their friends to help them. And eventually, just for one definition of terms, there were few people responding before we could actually construct the definition of what is audit. As simple as them. So this is how I get them engaged. Instead of just me talking and they're listening. So so that's something that I do to get them engaged. And that is during the class. Some activity are carried out after the class, where they can do other activity which take longer time. We do it after the class. We communicate closely using WhatsApp. So my student can reach me, through WhatsApp. So sometimes discussion happen through WhatsApp. So if they have any question, I will encourage them to answer in the WhatsApp group itself, because there are some students who have the same burning question but too shy to ask. So that I make sure there's a there's close interaction, there's a close communication between us. So, and every time when I start the class, I will ask them, so do you have any trouble accessing the particular platform? Do you have any update? Can you tell me what is your trouble? Can I know what is your limitation? So every class I will check on that, and I will jot down, and accordingly I will inform the university some of the troubles that what my students are facing, because I want the learning to happen, right?
Right. So in a way, you focus a lot on the student bonding as well. I guess
Yes.
It's a topic that for the past 3 weeks we have been speaking with all of the speakers, the 20 panel of speakers out there. I guess a lot of teachers are asking us, so why are my kids not joining into my class, right? Why are my kids disengaged in a way? So a lot of the speakers, when I've actually spoke to them, they actually told us that the trust and the relationship between teachers and the students is very important. And even one of the speakers, Dr. Afzan, actually mentioned that in her program, she didn't have much problem transitioning it to online, because during the start of the semester, they spent close to about 6 months of deliberately trying to build relationship and to build trust between the teachers and the students. And these are primary school or preschool students, right? And she actually told me one very interesting thing, and is that one of the students or some of the students actually took about 1 year, just to trust the teacher at hand. So you can see how hard is it to actually build a trust between students, right? So in the nutshell, for Dr. Savita, you have been sharing me about very interesting stories on how you're running programs in your class. And I guess for some of you out there, she actually told me that she actually brings cake, right, and desserts into classroom, and then there's like a lot of reward, right, and then kids can have fun in class. So could you tell us more about that element, which is very interesting in my mind?
Yeah, I mean, I have been a student myself, right? So, and then as a student, you have many classes to attend. Some of the students, right, they have class from 9 in the morning to 6 in the evening. Sometimes they do not even have break for lunch or to take meals or even to rest. So I encourage my students to bring food to class. They can bring tidbits, but with the rules that they must make sure that they keep the room clean, and before they leave, all the rubbish must be thrown away. So that is one rule that they have to follow through. So I encourage them to bring food, because I want the class to, I do not want a very formal environment. I want them to feel at ease. They can be themselves and I can be myself. And, and they have food around, then they bring some food. Sometimes from time to time, I will bring chocolates, I will bring some tidbits that I will share around with them. I will put on the table, and sometimes they just need something to push them. While they do activity, they have the tidbit. So this is what I do. I think it's very important to have this kind of bonding with the student. And usually, because my class are not so big, it comes about 10 to 80 per class, depending on the semester. Okay, so about 10 to 80 students per class. So if the class is small, and then I will have some gathering, I buy some secret recipe cakes for my student, and I can bring to the class on the last day. We take some picture, or I bring some pizza, depending. So every semester I will do something with them. And from time to time, I will share tidbits. And I believe in reward system. So this is one thing that I believe, reward system. So I believe reward system not only for my student as well as for myself. So I believe in rewards. So, I reward them for everything that they do. Maybe for sometimes you want to get them engaged in the activity, you want them to participate. So, sometimes when the friends present something, I will tell, okay, whoever has question, you're going to get extra mark, and then you get some reward. It depends. And and then sometimes, okay, if you finish on time, what do you get? And if you help others, because I do not want them to just be independent, I want them to be a team player. Sometimes you need to help your team, but at the same time, you can also help others, other members from other team. So all this thing is, I want to create a behavior or attitude in them, but along the way, I believe rewards has to come in.
Right.
Yes,
On
so that's
reward,
why.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Just to add on some comments from Facebook over here. Mickey Chong says, "So nice to be your student, Dr. Savita." Yeah, I feel that way also when she was telling me that she actually brought cake and allowed her students to eat in class, right? And then from Aziz, wow, very nice comment from Aziz. He's mentioning that students do not care how much you know, but they do care how much you care. Wow, that's a golden nugget over there. Thank you, Aziz. And speaking of reward, right? Just to share a story that from my side, when I started out as a teacher, like many years ago, right? So I thought that rewarding is very good. So I had a class of primary school kids. So there's like 10 or 15 students. And what I did was that during the first time of the class, every time when they answer questions, right, then I give them like a sweet, right? So I have like a bag of sweets that I bring to the classroom, then I give them the sweets. So every time when they answer the question, I give them the sweet. But end of the day, for the long-term perspective, right, after like half an hour to 45 minutes, what happens was that it doesn't work anymore. So the reward sort of like causes them to be dissatisfied. So, and eventually one of the students actually told me that, hey, only sweet, do you don't have other bigger prizes? So their demand actually got more and more and more. So when you're not able to give them more of the presents, then end of the day, what happens was that, wow, they immediately become demotivated. So I'm not sure from your perspective, right, is how do you not overdo rewarding, right? And how do you keep a balance between students to be able to progressively go through the lessons learned, but at the same time allowing them to have the motivation not to rely too much on reward as well?
I think you have to set the ground rules when they deserve a rewards. So they have to somehow fulfill certain outcome. All right, then you will give the rewards. Because I'm for me, my kids, I mean, my students are grown-up kids, right? They are in the university, but they do appreciate the rewards. But surely I can see the expectation do increase, you know, like from normal chocolate, they expect Cadbury chocolate, then Ferrero Rocher, those things happens, it happens, all right? But, you know, you must genuinely give them, but they also must understand they must deserve for that rewards. So the reward not only in terms of the food, probably sometimes in terms of marks. So I know some of the activity that I carry out in the class require a lot of time, effort. So I actually reward for every activity that they carry out in the class. There will be marks assigned to it, because I told them I will appreciate every single effort that you put in to learn and complete your items. So I follow closely with their activities and I reward accordingly. And I will tell them this at the beginning of the class, that, you know, it's very important for you to participate. It's very important for you to open yourself, communicate, because this will bring you more rewards in terms of your marks and other non-monetary rewards. Yeah.
Okay, very, very nicely put. I guess in a way, a reward is very important. It's just that the criteria for them to get to that reward is even more important. And it's not just like feeding them with rewards and end of the day spoiling them their ability to want to learn, right? So for all the audiences out there, if you have any questions to Dr. Savita with regards to education or even how to become a better mother, right, you can actually ask as well, right? So it's a chit chat session, so we hope to get your feedback on that as well. And also, if you're a teacher or if you're a parent, please also let us know what are the challenges that you have been facing during this MCO period. What challenges have you been facing towards the entire thing? It could be student engagement, software. Do share with us on here, right? Because just to let you know, coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if you have not registered yet, please go and register. 20 of our speakers from different education backgrounds will be coming together to share on their personal experiences as well as their strategies on how they conduct online classes or remote learning classes during the MCO period. So definitely tune us in, and Dr. Savita would be one of the speakers, which will be on the third day, right? I'm correct?
Yes,
if I'm correct.
Correct.
All right.
They are at the 9:30. Okay, just to add on the rewards, I observe from my kids. Because I have one kids in primary and secondary. So in the primary school, what the teacher do is that you have a reward box. So based on certain behavior, it's not only in terms of your performance in the class, but in terms of behavior, they also will actually get a reward of like stars. How many stars? And then if you reach 5 star, you get one reward. And if you reach 10 star, you got another reward. So that is what is going on in my son's classes, primary school. So and then the student not only start participating in learning, all right, but they also tend to behave much better because they want to get the rewards. So eventually the teacher will I can see the changes in many kids in the class. They become more participative, they're more well behaved, and they want to get to learn more than each other. It becomes a healthy competition, so this is what they do. And then in terms of secondary, I see the teachers use a lot of positive words, because especially during MCO now, my son has a lot of classes from time to time, homework, and every time they submit homework, the teacher will say, "Oh, very good job, I appreciate it." All this positive word is very important. I use this a lot in my class too. Usually when I start my class, I will start with some positive proverbs, to encourage them, to get them to learn and why we need to learn. So the same thing I see happening in the secondary school and the primary school. So I think positive words take a long way for the children.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, positive words. Oh, okay. Another gold nugget by Aziz Rajab. So he's saying, for me, class is 3M. First M, motivating. Second M, meaningful. And third M, memorable. Not forgetting noble values. Oh, very nicely put, right? So Aziz Rajab, please do comment. Are you a teacher yourself? I see that you have a lot of very interesting comments. So do let us know your background as well. Okay. So as for all of you out there, if you have any questions with regards to education, parenthood, please do comment on the session below, and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions. So Dr. Savita, now back to education, right? So we have talked about as a lecturer in university. So back home, right? So you have 2 kids, right? So when I was 8 years old, I was a very naughty kid, right? So I'm not sure how are your kids' situation, but could you share with us more on your pedagogy or your methodological approach on how you guide your kids, right? Do you use the same method as you use in university, or do you have much more of a chillax approach?
Okay, so because for me, because I focus a lot on my students, so a lot of my attention goes to my student in the university. So I spend a long hours preparing for my student, because I believe that I need to be well prepared before I come to the class. So I spend most of my time delivering and give my best for my students to learn. Okay, so for my children, actually, mommy has a little less time with them. So when they was going to school, they come back, at night, I will guide them as they needed. Whenever they need, I will guide them. But during this MCO, yes, I do face difficulty to balance it because we work from home, and they receive homework through Telegram or Google Classroom. But there was not much of interaction with the teachers. So eventually, mommy has to step up, right, to teach, even though sometimes they listen to the YouTube videos, and after they listen, I ask, what do you learn? I do not know what I learned. So all this thing happens. So it takes the time of the working mother like me to also educate my children. But eventually my priority always goes to my student first, and second only my children. So
Wow.
end up so sometimes my spouse will look into my kids' education, and sometimes my parents are around, they will assist me. So it always becomes secondary, and my students become my primary. Yes,
Wow.
this is what's happening.
So that's what it takes to be a professional teacher, right? So sacrificing my own children's education for the sake of my children, right? And I believe a lot of teachers out there, especially during MCO, are also one of the unsung heroes during this 3 months period. Because I've spoken, basically, personally, I've spoken to close to about hundreds of teachers and from Facebook and all the social medias as well. All of them has been telling me during the first phase, they have been bogged down with a lot of homework to create for their students, trying to engage them, feedback with parents, and a lot of times they go on to the wee hours trying to fulfill all of the students' questions and the parents' comment as well, right? So for you teachers out there as well, thank you for being the frontliner, and hopefully we are able to provide some insights, right, from the Education Summit towards this time, right? And the main objective for this Education Summit is really to give back to teachers, and also to allow teachers which has very good solutions, education solutions like Dr. Savita, to be able to have a voice and a stage for her to share out her ways of how she teach. Okay, so okay, Aziz replied. He was mentioning that he was a retired IPGK Perlis science lecturer.
Wow.
Right.
Thank you for the feedback.
Okay, so we have an ex-teacher, right? Okay, so in that way, Dr. Savita, wanting to find out as well. So how is it different in terms of how you approach guiding your students versus guiding your kids, right? In terms of a progressiveness on how you deal with them, do you use the same approach? Is it reward-based as well? Is it that you use mind maps? Do you run this kind of activities with your kids as well?
Like I said earlier, yes, I do run some of the activity that I run with my student, with my kids. But surely I focus a lot on my student, because every week I will start thinking like, what activity should I carry out for my student in the university? Because I believe that the activity should not be the same. The student will get bored, you know. So I and my tutor, so I have a tutor with me. So we always think, okay, what to do next activity? What kind of things we should do? Can we do gameplay? Can we do role play? You know, sometimes when we was before MCO, we had outdoor base. So means I get a student, okay, now you go to the building number 2, collect this information, I come back in half an hour. So every week I will spend my time thinking how to make my class much more active and creative, you know, so that I get them to engage and learn. All right. So with my student, yes, with my children, yes, they are rewards. So I will tell them that you have to finish certain, homework given by the teacher, and then I will give them some rewards. So I have an elder boy right now, 13. So he will take the role of teaching the younger one, and the younger one will start asking questions. So they will be discussing and end up fighting. So that's what happened, the reality. Just that, because the beauty is working from home is that I'm at home all the time. Okay, and my kids are with me. So in the study room, I have myself with my laptop, and I have 2 kids with me. So they are always beside me throughout the day. So, you know, they study beside me, so I can still watch what they do. You know, whenever they have difficulty, I could guide them here and there. Sometimes the elder brother will help the younger one. Surely the elder one is much more independent. Unless he has issue, then he will look for me. And then they will play the same role. So the best part is being at home is that I can see my kids all the time. And, you know, either they play or they study, they are always around me. So I think that is a blessing of working from home, which you don't get when you work at office, because I go early morning at 7 and I come back home at 7 in the night. So I got a few hours before they go to bed. And before MCO, you know, the kids goes to tuition. So yes, I send my kids to tuition. Because sometimes I do not have the time to sit with them, all right, to guide them. But I have some rules in sending to tuition too. So I don't believe sending to tuition on one-to-one. I also don't believe sending tuitions in a bigger group, like, you know, 30 in a group or 20. I always look for some smaller groups, like 5 to 10 per session. You know, so I believe in that method they learn better. So I do send my kids for tuition, especially the elder one. The younger one, he's still small, and now you don't have the exam, right, for standard 1 to 3. So I let him to enjoy his life, learn through play, you know, learn by watching those YouTube videos, learn by asking questions. He learns a lot from the brother too, because he see what the brother does, so he learns from there. Yes, so this is what is happening at home. So I less strict with the kids at home as long as they finish their homework and I want to learn. So off and on I will ask them, okay, so on this topic, what do you learn? Okay, you explain to mommy. So if they're able to explain, I understood that learning has happened. Probably not perfect 100%, but main thing, learning has happened. So these are the things that I do at home. Yeah.
Okay, because I guess a lot of parents out there, one of the key things as a parent and as a teacher, time is the essence of things, right? Guiding one student is enough to take your entire day, right? So let alone having your own kid and the students in your classes as well. So there's one thing that I really like on what you just mentioned, which is you mentioned that you try to make classes much more fun, much more interesting, and you would spend a lot of time trying to make it fun, right? Even before that, right? And I've actually spoke to one of the teachers, which will be joining us on Sunday as well. He has been a teacher from the pedalaman school. So he has been doing a lot of game-based learning for pedalaman schools with his own effort, creating like dinosaurs and fun playing methods. And to him, I can see a lot of passion from you as well. So what really drives you to want to use all this energy and focus to make the class a more fun and active? And why do you want to do that instead?
Because my motivation is that it's not is I want my student to learn. It's not about finishing the syllabus itself, but I want learning to happen, and those learning will benefit them. So when I teach them, I will try to relate to real life examples. I will give them activity which they can help, and in between of this, we will discuss something else. Sometimes I discuss some trending topic with them. Like TikTok. They get excited. Sometimes I talks about my personal experience, and sometimes they were some of the students, they have like the final year student, they are getting worried whether do they get jobs. So we will spend like 10 minutes talking about that, or what kind of mediums, or how can I advise them, or how can I guide them. So for me, learning needs to happen, and I believe learning is a lifelong process. And I always tell them, whatever that you learn in university, you can keep learning. So there are many, like during this MCO, there's so many free training, free classes, online classes. I actually encourage them. So I still share whatever link that I get, I share to all of them. I say take up, learn something that of your interest, or something that you think you need to master on.
Right.
So for me, yes, correct.
The thing is that the foundation of relationship has already been built. Am I right?
Yep.
Otherwise, then any messages would just be ignored by them, right? So
Yes.
okay. So there's a very interesting comment over here by let me see, by Saras. So Sarah says, I guess Saras, are you from the Pedalaman school? Knowing not many pupils have internet access, so we distribute homework by drive-through. So parents cooperate very well by sending videos of the child doing and send back the work when they collect their new homework. Okay, so they do not have internet access and they have to do it very manually. I'm not sure. Probably Saras, could you share with us what your background, which location are you from, and are you a teacher as well? So that's a very interesting topic. So during the Education Summit, just to let everyone know, there's going to be a few solutions that's going to be catered for different demographic of teachers. So one of it is definitely those who has access to technology, Wi-Fi, right? And those are some of the technological side, what software you can use, how to engage them online, right? But there would also be speakers in the panel of speakers that we have that are going to be addressing to teachers that has no access to Wi-Fi or internet data, or their students have no access to Wi-Fi or internet data, right? And on the third day, we actually have one of the speakers that is actually coming from Lawas, Sarawak. And to me, it's very hard for me to even call him. He is in the Pedalaman all the time. He does not have internet access. And for those of you who has no internet access, definitely tune into the session so that you can find out how teachers like them who has no internet access are able to engage their student and to continue on the learning process during MCO, right? So like what do you say, Savita? I guess the mindset of the teacher is actually very important, right? Not wanting to forcibly finish off the lesson, right? But also to take care of the process, if they're happy on that, right? if I may share with you, like if I think back on the days on the happy times, right, during my childhood time on education, and it always stays on the memory of having fun, right, going to camps, right, so teachers creating like games, right, very engaging situation or scenario for you to learn. And surprisingly, after so many years, it still stuck in the brain, right, and the memory stays on. So a lot of teachers might feel that, okay, it might be a waste of time to create games and things like that, but actually not quite. The memory actually stays on, and I can still very fondly remember the teacher and the team that actually brings through all of this education, right? So it's not all lost. End of the day, students really remember happy times together with you, and end of the day, they learn best by playing, right? So there's a quote that is saying that play is the brain's best way to learn. Playing is the brain's best way to learn. So I really love that quote over there. Okay, so anything to add on from there? So I guess you add on a lot of fun, engaging elements in your class, right? So very important question. So are your students doing good in their grades? That's the main question, right? So
Okay.
how's their result? How are your students' result? Yes.
Okay. Okay. Before I go back to that, let's address the internet issue here. Engagement are much more easier when we are doing the face-to-face class. So I think all of us are having the difficulty when it's online to get engaged. So this is also my concern on every week, how to get them engaged, because eventually I can't see them because their video is off, because I need to understand their internet, and I'm trying different platforms. So for example, Kahoot. I use heavily Kahoot back then during face-to-face, but now when I use Kahoot last week, and one of my students say, oh, my internet access is so poor that I can't use Kahoot. But it was not a problem back then when it was in the campus. But now it is a problem. So every week I'm actually testing different platform, different medium to fit what my student can use it. Because, it's not fair for them. The rest can and they can't. So I told them it's okay. Even though you miss the quiz, you can continue do the quiz when the internet becomes stable. I will still look into this. I still consider, because it's not just the marks. It's also I want the learning to happen. So I want them to actually undergoing that particular quiz. And so I realized that I need to start going to something more simple instead of Kahoot. I have to go to Google Form. A Google Form could be, it's not as interactive as the Kahoot. So there's a lot of issue with the platform too. And I do use a lot of YouTube videos on the different topics. So I believe that even the videos cannot be so lengthy. So I will take for every single concept that I teach in my class, I have video for it, and the video is short, so that they can actually listen at their own time. The video are given in advance before they come to class, so that during the class there's more of less heavyweight kind of videos that they have to deal of. So that more discussion carry.
Right. It's more like they already have digested even before coming to class, right?
Yes, so this is where the fluid learning happens. But usually I have to, I start adapting to the new MCO. The issue is still the internet accessibility, and so we have to understand that not everyone has it. Probably in the university level, all the student has to come and attend the classes, because they don't attend their classes, they don't get their attendance tick. It will be it will be an issue for them. But at the school level, I realized that even for my kids' classes, so they have 40 of them, but you can always see there will be the same 15 students who will be who will come who will go for the Google Classroom, who will actually be submitting, because the teacher will ask them to actually capture the picture of the homework and send, and the teacher will give comment, and that's when the positive word will come in. So, but you can see only limited students, half of the class only. So what happened to the rest? What happened to their learning? Are they not having the internet accessibility, or are they not engaged to do online learning? Some, it's still a question mark in this process. But I observe it both for my primary, my son in primary, as well as my secondary. Something that I hope to hear more later during the 3 days. How can we look into this matter, and how can the rest who have missed it can also learn it or catch up on the learning. Yeah.
Okay, right. So so end of it. So how are your students' grades?
Oh, Right. Okay. Actually, because this is part of my research, all right. So I have a postgraduate student who's studying with me on this particular fleet learning and team-based learning. So I've been doing this almost 2 years. So I actually compare the result between the traditional method and the learning method. I can see the grade improvise because they learn better. So yes, I do a lot of reflection with them. I ask them to tell me what they feel about the method of teaching, and what they reflection, not only reflection about themselves, reflection about the teaching, as well as reflection on me. So I always tell my student, I'm very open to hear any comments and feedback, negative, positive from you, so that I can improve myself as an educator, so that I can give best for the next round of student too. So
Right.
this is what I do, and I think because when through fleet learning and team based learning, the learning become more casual. You can build a better rapport, relationship with your student. You get them more engaged. They learn better. They are more open to ask you questions. They are not sure. They can they can get their clarification. So I think learning happens better, and because they learn better, they perform better too in their quiz, tests, exam, as well as in their assignments and project. Yeah, I can
Right.
see the changes there. Yeah.
Right, right. And also just to highlight, you recently just won an award, right, on innovative learning together with Dr. Mano.
Yes, yes.
Am I
So
correct?
yeah,
Yeah, could you tell us about that?
correct.
Congratulations, first of all, on that award. And then could you tell us more about what is that award about? Innovative Learning Award. Is that something like that?
All right. So because it's actually the way we focus on the teaching. So Dr. Manu and myself, we are Microsoft Innovative Educator. We got so we completed certain courses under Microsoft. We got this badge of Microsoft Innovative Educator. So in Microsoft, you have like 6 steps, which I will touch a little bit later on Sunday. How learning should happen. So we actually follow that methodology, and we carry out in the class, and we monitor whether how do students perform in terms of their learnings and also in terms of their grades. So that is the research is about that, using the methodology by Microsoft Innovative Educate as an innovative educator. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So a few comments from here. Wow. Okay. Aziz has been feeding us with a lot of gold nuggets, golden words. Students will continue to learn if teachers are able to touch their hearts. Wow. Okay. Wow. You got to touch their heart. Yeah, I agree with that. So when studying becomes a hobby, exam is just like a picnic. Do you, Dr. Savita?
All right, that's a very big statement.
Yeah.
I think eventually, if the student take learning as studying or learning as a hobby, then they will just feel that the exam is just something to, for them to evaluate what they have learned. But it does not it does not apply to all students. Some students do find difficulty in terms of learning, and exam something that they get panic on. Some students, they do learning very well, but because they have certain expectation that they want to achieve, so they get panic too during exam. Instead of become picnic, it become panic. This happen. All right. I think all of us until today, I think if all of us go for some professional paper, we have to go for exam. We do have certain panic feeling in us too, because we have expectation, we want to pass this and that. But actually for some students, for them it's very easy. I've seen some students who, they really like learning, they really enjoy learning. When they answer final exam question, their answer that they gave inside the exam paper is similar to my answer script. It's like so near to it, because the student really learns. Okay, so I'm very amazed with this student, and she is a 4 flat, so she is a 4.0 CGPA graduates, and then she came back and becoming my master student, and now she graduated from her master also.
Okay,
So
so the learning continues
yeah,
to the next generation. All right.
yeah. So a lot of my students who I taught them, eventually they become I become their supervisor for their final project, and they will come back again as my master student, as my postgraduate student, my master student. And eventually after they finish their master student, if I have some grants, then they will come back again under special service and work for me. So we have different bonding altogether. It's a different relationship that I created with my student. Like I said earlier, I treat them equally like an elder. Which I treat differently with my children because my children are small. So I always tell them that we learn from each other. It's not I'm a perfect, I knows everything. But I'm willing to learn from you, and you must be willing to learn from me too. So we both must be open in terms of learning. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. So some other comments. So we're about to wrap up for today, but we are just opening up for Q&A. So any of you have any questions to Dr. Savita tonight, do let us know about education, about parenthood, or anything that has to do about education, right, as a whole. So Marlon Yusen, great. I'll sure attend the 3-day webinar. Okay, Marlon, if you have registered, congrats. If you have not, please log in into the EduSummit.co, EduSummit.co. So a lot of people is asking us why .co and not .com, because I told them, I'm not telling them that we don't have .com, but I just told them that because education is a collaborative effort, right, between teachers, parents, and students, and that is why it's .co. And right now, during MCO, it's all about collaboration as well, right? So that's, yeah, so there you go. Okay, so other comments from I'm not sure who is this. So it's telling that we can bring practical education for kids instead of theoretical learning. Okay, so I just want to ask the audiences over here, right? If you're a teacher or if you're a parent, right? Do you agree that we should add in more fun and learning into classroom learning, or a new way or approach of learning? If you agree with that, comment yes. If no, that means you prefer the traditional based learning in terms of how we have gone through in schools, right? So comment yes if you feel that we should add in more fun and learning and advancement in learning. No if you prefer the traditional method. Okay, so another comment over here from Edwina Lim. Dr. Savita mentioned about some are great learners yet panicking during exams. I'm one of these type of students. So how about, do they get graded, allowing that they are actually good in their studies and could get the concept of your teaching? Okay, so if I may paraphrase it in a way, if I'm if I answer your question correctly, Edwina, could it be that some students may panic, right? Like Dr. Savita, like when you go to exams, sometimes your mind go blank, right? So
Yeah.
how do you guide these students to get good grades if they might have some panicking during an actual exam, right? And also another question from Marlon Usen as well. Any advice about assessments, right? Type of exams, how the students are to be graded? I guess these are quite related as well. One is on panicking, and how are assessments, how are the students to be graded?
Okay. All right. To tell you the truth, I'm also those panicking type when exam time. All right.
Okay.
So
Right.
I think I panic when I attend exams because I love to go for I do, because I find learning is lifelong. This is why I get panic during exam. I still go for many professional papers and I sit for exam. Last year I sit for 3 different exams. So I get panic. Why I get panic? Because I have a very high expectation and I want to meet the expectation. That's why the panic. So I think the good learners, their problem is they get panic not because they want to pass, because they want an A and they want to keep the CGPA. So eventually if you are close to the student and the student is close to you, they will tell you that, madam, I'm feeling so panic. So this is when your positive words, your motivations, this is where the time that you want to talk to them, console them. So I do this with my students, whoever who come and express their feelings to me. And same goes with my postgraduate students. So before they go for their important presentation, I will have a chit chat. I will calm them down. I will tell them tips and tricks on how they should manage. So I will go through a flow with them, what kind of questions, so get them feel prepared. So when you feel prepared, your panicking will be less. And I think these positive words, all these things play a lot of roles. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Wow. Very nicely said. Yeah. In a way, I guess panicking attack probably is probably, because to me it's maybe because they are too nervous. They want to be perfect, right? When you're trying to be perfect, then your brain starts to get panic, right? Because perfection may not be achieved in that way, and it depends on how the mindset is as well. Okay, some questions over here from okay, let me see. Okay, Manish Jain. Okay, Manish Jain actually commented that lots of assignments for kids in the school. Yes, that's a very huge topic during MCO. Is that necessary for them? Basically, parents don't feel right about the pressure to kids from school. Okay, what I'm seeing from the comment section over here, most of them are commenting yes. They feel that we should add in more fun, more advancement in the way that we teach kids, right? And Aziz, again, okay, is there any collaboration between UTP and schools? Example, PLC, lesson, study, etc. Yeah, question to you,
Yes.
Savita.
UTP do have UTP have many collaboration with many school currently. So there are many activity that we do under the ministry itself. So there are many ongoing activities at school, and then the school visit us. We have competition from time to time. Like for example, we have IT competition. The school does participate in. So UTP work very closely with the school, primary as well as secondary. So that's what we do. So that's one thing. And in terms of, okay, what else? What other question? So yes, I believe we should close this gap because I feel the students should visit the university so that they know the feel of how the university going to be. They get excited, they get motivated, and then eventually they know if I study very well, I'm going to end up here. So we do have a lot of activity with the school. If that's a question, yes, UTP is doing it currently.
Wow. Okay. So hope it answer your questions, Aziz. So there are collaborations between UTB and school. And one of the things that when I was discussing with Dr. Savita is that as she was describing, and not only Dr. Savita, with all the other panel speakers as well, and especially, for example, Dr. Tazli, also from UTP. So the way that he has been sharing with me on how he engages students with flipped learning, even flipped assessments, I feel that a lot of these teaching techniques, if I may say that word, right, teaching techniques that you have been using or other lecturers have been using in UTP are something that I feel that should be shared more to teachers out there. And hence, that is why we feel that for the Education Summit 2020, it's a place for us to really discuss on how are teachers actually using, what techniques are teachers using in classes, right? What are the key fundamental things that works and what does not work, and to share it with all the teachers or even parents out there that they can utilize this, they can learn from it, they may discard it, but they can choose and pick and choose on the many different ways on how they can teach in school. And I guess from Dr. Savita, I guess there's like hundreds and thousands of methods out there, right?
Yeah,
that
correct.
that are available in universities, and it's about time that we share all of these ideas and techniques with all of the teachers out there, right? Because
Yeah.
teachers out there, to me, there's nothing new under the sun, right? So either we just share our resources and find out more about what works and what does not work, right? And shorten the learning curve from there, right? And nicely put by Aziz Rajab over here. I think it's time to have meaningful networking and engagement between all education institutions, right?
Yes, correct. I feel that even at the university level, we, the lecturers themselves, we are always thinking how to make our class fun, how to make our class interactive with a lot of activities. So we are talking about students of the age of 18 to 21, 22. Right? At that age, we are still talking about role play, game based, fun, interactiveness. So eventually, if you talk about if at that age they need it, surely if those kids at the primary, secondary school, they need even more to get the learning to happen. So it is something that we have to bring forward, downward, from the university downward to the primary and secondary school. Because if I based on my observation, okay, this is my opinion, based on my observation, when my kids was in the kindergarten, right, private kindergarten, so I realized that they have a lot of game. They play by game, role play. They do experiment. They try everything, and some of the experiment things they do, they bring back home. So and then the why, because the teacher, the school the kindergarten wants the parents to actually perform an experiment with the student, but with the child. So you create a bonding. So they actually do a lot of things, practical activities. So he has a lot of fun, and he has never feel bored going to school. He went to kindergarten from 2 years old, play school up to they're 6 years old, right? But when they goes to primary and secondary, there is a gap there. And then when they go back to the university, then we start doing the same thing again. But I think gap need to be closed so that learning can happen in more fun and interactive ways.
Yes, definitely. Right. So I guess in a way, Education Summit is probably one of the platform, and I believe
Yep.
there will be even more platforms out there that will offer all of these solutions up to teachers out there, right? So some questions. Okay. By the way, we are about to close down in a few minutes. So if you have any questions, please comment down there so that we can ask Dr. Savita. So a few questions. Let me see. Mickey Chong, totally agree, Jay. I need to know different methods of teaching. First time heard about flip assessment. Okay, so by the way, Mickey Chong, flip assessment, I guess if you have seen one of the teaser video that we have sent it out, we spoke to Dr. Tazli, right, about flip assessment. So he has been showing a concept on how you can use assessing. So you come up with questions, not by the teacher, but by the students. That is a very interesting topic that opened my mind during that time. So Mickey, if you are interested on that, please do first have to go on to the edusummit.co, log in free to the 3-day virtual summit, education summit. And for Dr. Tazli's session will be on the second day, right? On the second day from at 5:15 p.m. So Mickey, hopefully you are able to tune in to Dr. Tazli and ask him more questions on that. Okay? So
And I think
Manish, Manish is asking that.
Yeah, we're joining for the forum too. Remember, on the same night, Saturday night, Dr. Tazli will be, yes, for the forum.
Right. So in a way, okay, questions from Manish is UTP ready to collaborate with STEM education provider?
Yes, we do. I can link you with the right person from UTP who manage on the STEM education. And even you can work together with Trophy Malaysia in terms of STEM. Trophy Malaysia also works on game-based learning. So that's another medium that we can look at also. Yeah. Okay, back to the topic, right? Because because I know we're going to end the session soon. So, the title say balancing the role as a lecturer and a mother. So I have few things to. So I think it is not an easy task, all right, as being a mother to balance my professional job as an educator as well as being a mother to the kids. But at the same time, we are also holding different hat, wife, daughter-in-law, those kind of hat with us together. So I used to feel that working from home is very difficult, all right? But then along the way, I realized that I love working from home because it gave a different flexibility. I have my kids all the time with me during their playtime or during their playtime or during their study time. I can see them every day. I can see them growing. Actually, I talk to them more in between of the meetings and the activity because I'm at home. So actually, I do enjoy working from home. And I think that it gave a flexibility in the time management. UTP and my house is about 1 hour one way, so I spend 2 hours on the road. And right now with working from home, I save these 2 hours that I can spend more time with the family. Yes, I agree with some of you were saying that we have more workload. I do agree that because of everything is online, it become boundaryless, it become timeless, that meetings can happen during the day, during the weekend, night. So something that I myself will need to learn to balance it, which I still have difficulties. At the same time, like I was saying earlier, that I will always give priority to my students, and so and less to my own kids. So I'm sorry for that if my kids are listening to me. So probably mommy will need to give more time to you too. So that I feel so bad because I'm actually focusing more on my student and my own kids. Probably because I think they're young, they have a long way to go. Learning can happen gradually. Nothing to force on. It should be something more natural. So there are a few things. There's 5 things that I tell myself that I would like to share with others. That do not say yes to everything, to every single workload that comes to you until it become very unrealistic for you to work on. So prioritize your task and work on something that urgent first, all right? And stay focused on the task and complete it on time, okay? So because when things are virtual, everything comes to you, so you need to learn on that. Yes, remember to be reasonable to you and your family. So to your own self, right? These are something I learned for the last 3 months. So yes, I started my journey being imbalanced, and I'm actually in the journey of balancing it. So I'm still learning. So something that I think everyone should look at and reward yourself. So for those mothers out there, all right, because the topic is lectures and mothers. So those mothers or fathers out there, reward yourself, all right, reward yourself for every single little thing that you complete, any of your tasks, every single thing that you do. Take some time for yourself, watch movie, go eat ice cream, or play with your kids. My kids, we love to do videos. They love to do videos, so they will make me to act as in a movie, so-called their own movie. And they will share among the family members. So I'm trying to tell myself that I need to start be more good in balancing my role as a lecturer and as a mother, which I think is many out there are also struggling just like me. Yeah, that's something from me today.
All right, so nicely put. So in a way, there's a strike of balance that we have to have, right, in between business or teacher in that manner, and with family as well. I guess it works for everyone as well in terms of the balance. So okay, one last question that we are going to be addressing over here. So from Manish, Manish is from India. So just now the collaboration with UTP. So Manish, what's going to happen is that please remember to join in during the Education Summit 2020 3-day forum. So what's going to happen is that after each speaker has given their speech, we will give you a feedback form, right? So Manish, after you got the feedback form, please write down any of the info or website that you want to have for each speaker. So the speakers will be able to see your comments or any of the collaborations out there that you are able to do, right? So Manish, hope it answers your question. And hopefully you are able to share this Education Summit 2020 to people in India as well. Yeah. Right. Also, do let us know what is the situation right now in India. I'm not sure how is it right now. So Manish, thanks for the question over there. So one last question, open up to everyone out there before we call it a day. So wow, it's been 1 hour 30 minutes.
Wow.
We were supposed to do a 1 hour, but yeah, I guess we are enjoying the time over here. So yeah, there you go. Right. So I guess not much questions from here. So probably I might end with one last question from Dr. Savita, which will be, if you were to create your own education system, right? If you were to have your school, right, in teaching whichever subject, if you were to be creating your very own school, what kind of a school would you actually create, and what will actually happen in a school in terms of the type of education that will be present in that school?
Oh, okay, that's a very big question. Jay, I have actually never thought in that sense before. But I do admire a few people, the way they conduct the school. One of the speaker that we're going to have is Dr. Habzan. I like the concept of the way she carry out the school. For me, that we should not have, learning should happen, but we should not be tied strictly to the syllabus. So I do like to have more of fun. I believe in fun. You're going to hear this word fun again on Sunday from me. So I think there should be a lot of role play, game based, outdoor learning. We should have a balance about it, because if every day you're going to do outdoor, the student will get also exhausted, right? So I think there should be a mixed balance of the traditional, where they sit down and listen to you, and there's some other activities that outdoor role play, because too much of active learning will cause them to be exhausted, and eventually you're going to lose them too. So we need to strike a balance between the traditional method and the student-centered learning. I believe in that. So I don't believe of having this thing on a day, for my class, I don't believe to have it on a weekly basis, because the student get exhausted. Same goes to the educator. So we must strike a balance about this. But learning must come through fun, and they must experience. I believe in practical. But during the practical, you will actually go through whatever the theoretical part that you learn, right? You apply the theory, that's why it become practical. Yeah.
Okay, so very nicely put. So I guess we would call it a day for today. So for all of you out there that love what Dr. Savita has been sharing over here, please give her a like, a love, and a wonderful comment. Thank her. Right. So it's been really pleasure. It's been a pleasure speaking to you today. A lot of insight and gold nugget towards the entire discussion. And for those of you who would like to catch Dr. Savita, uh, she will be on the third day of the Education Summit 2020. So her time slot will be on, okay, let me have a look. Dr. Savita's time slot will be on a Sunday, 21st of June on 9:30 a.m. Till 10:30 a.m. Her topic of the day would be discussing on personality types, X learning styles in team-based learning. So definitely a very interesting topic that definitely don't miss it out. So Dr. Savita will be sharing more with you during that 3-day summit, right? So for those of you out there, okay, there's a lot of, I'm not sure if you can see this. There's a lot of
Yes.
thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you.
Savita. Thank you.
I would like
Right.
to end my session by saying this particular proverbs. The illiterate of the 21st century will be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Okay, so let me read one more time in case you miss it. The illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn.
Learn, unlearn, and relearn. So that is the key for 21st century. Okay.
Yes.
Right. So so with that, so if you have any questions, please do also comment down there. So we will let Dr. Savita to go through any of your questions out there. And for now, so we would like to thank Dr. Savita for joining us in this first series of Edu Chat series, right? So we'll be having more of her hopefully soon, right? For more Edu Chat series down here. Okay, so for that, so we would like to thank Dr. Savita for coming together in this Edu Chat series for today. Okay, so
thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so for those of you out there, thank you for tuning in. So one last, a few announcements as well for the upcoming Education Summit series, right? So just to highlight a few things, I guess there are a lot of questions in the Facebook group as well as from the group over there, right? Just let me share my screen over here, last 5 minutes so that everyone is in tune with what's going to happen next. Okay. So what you're looking over here is the complete poster as well as the schedule that will be happening this coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, right? So so basically what is going to happen for those of you who are not aware, we are going to be running a 3-day education summit that has the topic to discuss about adapting to new normal in education, right? So basically these are education game plans by experienced educators out there. So we have managed to assemble a team of 20 educators from different education backgrounds that will come together to share with us all about education solutions ideas, right? And the reason why we're doing this is because we feel that during this MCO period, there are a lot of teachers, educators out there that has been talking to us to ask us questions in regards to how do I engage students, right? How do I teach them remotely? So there are a lot of all these questions that are coming out from the teacher. Hence, all of the speakers over here would hopefully be able to provide you with some solutions and some ideas that you are able to bring it back to your classroom or to your kid, right, to enhance and continue on the learning process, right? So for those of you out there who wants the poster, you can just go to the Malaysia Education Summit Facebook page, right? And you should be able to have the poster. And please do share all of this poster out to all of the educators, parents, teachers out there, so that they would be able to join in on this session. And the session is free for everyone, right? So there's no strings attached. Just come in, join in the session, and hopefully we would be able to serve you better from there. Okay, so now on the format on what's going to happen, the format of the the Education Summit, right? It will be a 3-day basis, right? If you can see the screen clearly over here. So we would have sessions from day 1 on Friday from 9 a.m. all the way to 10:15 p.m., right? So every speaker will be coming in for 1 hour to deliver their different topics, right? So the schedule and for the topic are also listed on the Malaysian Education Summit Facebook page as well. Okay, so what's going to happen is that if you are interested, or if your friends are interested, just what you have to do is just share the EduSummit.co EduSummit.co website to them. Just ask them, just log into EduSummit.co, right? So it's being shown down there, www.edusummit.co, right? And then just register yourself. And end of the day, you should be in the Facebook group of Education Summit 2020. So the Facebook group will be the place where we, okay, so this is the Facebook group over here. Now, so the Facebook group, it will all be in video. It's just like the format that we are seeing over here. It will all be hosted on the Facebook group. So make sure that you are in the Facebook group, and all of the sessions will come on live during that 3 days, right? Live during that 3 days, depending on the schedule that you're looking at over here, okay? And end of the day, for those who have already signed up, please do not forget, please join the Telegram group as well. The Telegram group that we have for Education Summit 2020. If you're not sure where is the Telegram group, please go into the top pin announcement in the Facebook group and join in the Telegram group. And why is that? It is because all of the announcement, all of the schedules, all of the informations we will be communicating with you in the Telegram group, right? Because right now the Telegram group, I'm seeing that the numbers are still very low in compared to the thousands of people that has already signed up on the program, right? So for those of you who have already signed up, I just want to wish thank you and congratulations for coming into the Education Summit, and hopefully we will be able to learn together, to share together, and hopefully to bring impact, positive impact to our classroom learning. Okay, so if there are any questions that you want to address, you can continue on the comment section below. And if other than that, so this is Jay Wong here, and I would just like to sign off from the EduChat series. And tomorrow we will also be online 8:30, same time as well, with a different session. So what's it going to be? Please stay tuned, 8:30 p.m. tomorrow. Okay. So for all of you out there who has tuned in, thank you very much for coming together with us for this 1.5 hour. And we hope to see you soon in the Education Summit 2020. All right. So signing off. Thank you very much. And good night to everyone over here. And from India, I'm not sure what time is it, but thank you so much for tuning in. And we look forward to seeing you in the future in the Education Summit.